This is part 3 in my travel tips and reactions to my trip to Iberia, Spain and Portugal. In this one, I wanted to talk about using their public transportation, the pros and cons, and give you some tips and help you prepare. By and large, the public transportation in Europe is spectacular. If you go to any of the museums in Spain, you'll learn that by and large, a lot of that was built by their army during World War II because it wasn't in World War II and had nothing else to do, which I think is a pretty good way of using your army, just like the Romans used to. So let's talk about them in chronologically, then we'll talk about the pros and cons. So first I went to the first major metropolitan area I used was Lisbon, Portugal. Portugal offers the Lisboa card, which is a free access to public transportation and gives you free access to or discounts to museums. It was probably the best benefit of any of the cards that I got in the time that I was over there. Assuming, of course, if you haven't already watched my video on problems, that you don't arrive in a storm when the internet is out. I recommend that you, if you want one, that you just buy it at the airport. So the problem with Portugal is that once you leave the airport, all of the terminals, at least when I was there last month, to buy the Metro cards are in Portuguese once you leave the airport. So if you are not a Portuguese speaker, like I'm not, then you need to buy it at the airport. There's a kiosk as you're headed out of baggage claim and passport control. Right in front of you will be an exit door to buses and taxis. And to the right is a series of booths. One of those is where you can get your Lisboa card. And then if you keep going to the right, it goes out to the Metro. So if you don't have tunnel vision, you can get one there. That's what I recommend. I arrived at 10 o'clock at night, so I'm not even sure if that was possible. I bought one ahead of time so that I wouldn't have this problem. The good things about the Lisboa card is that it's renewable and plastic, but we'll come back to that. So it was probably the very best potential benefit. I just didn't get to benefit from it as much as I'd like because I couldn't get it until 24 hours after I arrived. Second major metropolitan area I went to was Madrid. Madrid has a pretty good one. Lisbon only has 4 subway lines. Madrid has a lot more than that. And in Madrid, none of the trains were old. So some of the new metro trains that Lisbon doesn't have a button you have to push that lights up when you get to the exit. You push the button, the door opens. In Portugal, they just all open anytime that you arrive. But in Madrid, when you arrive, some of them you have to actually push open. Actually, all of them have that. Barcelona, it's not all of them. Otherwise, the door doesn't just automatically open. It's typically pretty busy, so you don't have this problem unless you happen to be the only person who's getting off and no one outside is getting on. You just have to keep that in mind. The Madrid card also has the same options, 1 to as many days as you want, plastic, reloadable. It is, however, on a calendar day system, so we'll come back to what that means. The Madrid card does not have any discounts, but the Madrid metropolitan public transportation was the cheapest of the 3. Finally, I went to Barcelona. Barcelona has, I think it was 10 or 11 metro lines. The problem with Barcelona, because it's hilly and on the coast, is that the metro lines are like this. So when I left to go to the airport, the easiest way was to go from downtown all the way to the end of that one where the university is and get on that one and ride all the way to the airport. Well, the problem with that is the university is way up here. So changing to the other one required me to go down, I think it was 5 or 6 flights of stairs. So if you're going the opposite direction, it would be a disaster. You'd have to go up all those or take the elevator because it's hilly. Their buses are not as intuitive. All the buses in Lisbon have been renumbered. The buses in Madrid make more sense, but there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to the numbering of the buses in Barcelona, at least not that I could see. And if you want to go to the airport in Barcelona, you have to use the metro. Otherwise, there's a special airport fee. None of the other transportation options get you there, just the metro. So in Lisbon, you scan in and out with the card. So they don't have conductors. So you scan to get into the metro, you scan, and then the door opens. In Madrid, you scan in, but you don't have to scan out. In Barcelona, you scan in and you don't have to scan out except at the airport, and that's to make sure you have paid for access to the airport. The Barcelona card has the least flexibility. It is on a 24-hour basis, but you have to buy at least 2 days at a time. There's no single-day card, and it's paper. So let's talk about the different options in the other public transportation. Both Lisbon and Madrid offer a plastic reloadable card. This is good because the plastic card doesn't break down if it's raining. It was raining when I was there, so the Barcelona card was paper, got wet. I put it in a machine, and it ate it. Now, all the call boxes to get help are located on the platform. I'm not on the platform, so I had to buy another card. That's annoying. It still pisses me off to this day. It's not reloadable. I saw people while I was buying another one who had plastic cards. I don't know how you get them. It wasn't intuitive. Lisbon just has machines in Portuguese, but all the Spanish machines had an English option. It was the British flag for English. So if you don't speak Spanish, you can still buy one. And this was in all the machines, not just at the airport, which is good because I didn't go to the airport. In Lisbon, you scan in and scan out. That's good to know. In Spain, you just scan in, except maybe in Madrid at the airport too, scan out at the airport. All the other exits, you just walk up. The door senses you, opens up, and lets you out. Or where I was staying in Madrid, there were just metal gates that push out only, and you would just walk out through it. And that's the only place I ever saw people gate jumping to ride for free, is they would jump over those. Because there were some people monitoring it, but not at the station where I was staying. So we have the language, we have the flexibility. Lisbon and Madrid, you can buy 1 to any days. In Barcelona, you have to buy 2 or more. The Lisbon one also has discounts or complete savings on attractions. So the Lisbon one is the best bang for your buck if you can get it the day you arrive. Madrid was the second best, only because of ease of use, and then Barcelona. It's easy to use, it's just paper. And I didn't like that because it got damaged by the rain, and then I had to buy another one. I'm not sure if I'm going to contact them about that. But a few things to keep in mind. Once you have used the subway or the public transportation in Europe, it basically works the same way. The signage is the same. The way of functioning is the same. Barcelona had some old trains where instead of a push button, there was a little lever you had to rotate, which was weird that they had old trains and nobody else did. But once you've ridden it anywhere in Europe, it's basically the same. So if you go down, the stops that are grayed out are the ones it's already been to. You're on the wrong side. That only happened to me like twice where I went down the wrong side. In Lisbon and Madrid, they are large and well lit. In Barcelona, they were short ceiling, cramped, and dark, except for the airport, which was new and sometimes had that spray on concrete look, which is kind of ghetto-y in my opinion. But so when I got to Barcelona, which was my last stop, I was very underwhelmed at the lack of decor. It was dirty. Lisbon had a ton of musicians. Madrid had a ton of musicians. In Barcelona, I didn't see any. That doesn't mean there weren't any. It just meant I didn't go anywhere at a time when they were there. So just a few things for your consideration if you are considering using public transportation in the Iberian Peninsula based on recent experiences in December 2022. Good luck.